Stellantis has had a very bad 2024, so let's talk about it. But before we dive into that, I do want to remind you guys that my course, the Car Sharing Masterclass, is on sale until November 30th for Black Friday, and you can use the code BLACKFRIDAY275 to get $275 off your purchase of the course. Now, the Car Sharing Masterclass is an incredibly robust course that teaches you everything that you need to know about starting and scaling a car sharing fleet with the same business model that I use. The course consists of over 7 hours of course content that covers everything from how to buy the right cars, how to negotiate and identify below market values, which cars to avoid, how to systemize and streamline your operations to make it as semi-passive as possible, how to handle damage claims, insurance, business and LLC information, pre-purchase inspections. We even have co-hosting contractual templates that we got from a real attorney that our team hired. When we say that the course is everything you need to know from A to Z about car sharing, we really mean it. Not only that, but we are constantly updating the course with new information and resources that students can utilize. And for every member that signs up for the Car Sharing Masterclass, they get access to our private Discord, as well as our private monthly Zoom calls as well. We are so incredibly confident with the quality of education that we provide with the Car Sharing Masterclass that we offer a robust, no questions asked, 30-day money-back guarantee so that you can give it a try at no risk to you. Now, if you're interested in checking out the Car Sharing Masterclass, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description below. It'll also be in the pinned comment section as well. And again, you can use the code BLACKFRIDAY275 to get $275 off. Stellantis is an umbrella company for many of the world's largest automakers. In fact, Stellantis is the fourth largest automaker in the world, behind only Toyota, Volkswagen, and Hyundai. And while on this channel we do talk a lot about Stellantis brands, more specifically ones like Alfa Romeo, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Maserati, all of which are owned by Stellantis. The truth is, this is just a portion of the brands that Stellantis has under their umbrella, and they actually own a ton of other brands, including Abarth, Peugeot, Opel, and more. Stellantis was officially formed in January 2021 during the merger of the Italian-American conglomerate Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and the French PSA Group. And while 2023 brought record revenue, which I always thought was a bit of a confusing and honestly a bit misleading headline, because if Stellantis was formed in 2021, then as long as Stellantis' performance was higher in 2023 compared to 2022, it's pretty easy to have a record year. But I suppose that's neither here nor there. Despite their record 2023 year, 2024 has been a disastrous one for the company. And not only is the company looking to make a CEO replacement once their current CEO's contract is up, but Stellantis has also been laying off workers on the plant and manufacturing level. But the real question is, why? Now, if you dig into why Stellantis is such a disaster, you'll find a lot of different takes online. Dealerships are unhappy, they're selling less cars, their profit margin is shrinking, and their sentiment is lower than ever. Factory workers and the UAW are unhappy. They've threatened strikes on Stellantis specifically, and have also demanded that the CEO needs to be replaced. And the truth is, there are a ton of different reasons why Stellantis has stooped to the all-time low that they're currently at, including disjointed brands like Chrysler, for example, which honestly at this point isn't even really a brand, it's just a single product. Their discombobulated EV approach, which also feels a bit haphazardly put together. Stellantis, of course, has major reliability issues basically across their entire lineup, and all of these are valid and legitimate reasons as to why Stellantis is struggling and is absolutely playing a role to the bigger picture here. But truthfully, I don't really think that these issues are why we're seeing such turmoil in 2024, because I think that can ultimately be blamed on price. Stellantis vehicles have simply become too damn expensive. During and after the pandemic, all cars became more expensive. The average vehicle listing price in 2019 was about 38 grand. Today, it's at a whopping 48 grand. As we all know, and as I've talked about literally hundreds of times on my channel, vehicle prices across the board with different makes, models, and trim levels have gotten more expensive. But in the case of Stellantis, not only did they raise their prices the highest in comparison to other comparable automakers out there, they raised it to the highest price point, and they also raised it by the highest percentage. In 2019, the average transaction price for Stellantis vehicle was at about $41,000. By 2023, when car prices for the company hit their peak, the average transaction price was about $59,000. This is an increase of 18 grand over the course of just a few years, and it's also an increase of 44%. And while many automakers claim that a large component as to why car prices went up during 2021 and 2022 was because of inflation and the pandemic, this is just simply not the entire story, because according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average increase in price for goods we currently see is about 21%. So did car prices rise during the pandemic? Absolutely. And did that price increase affect car prices? Yes. But did it cause Stellantis to have to increase their prices by 44%? No. And you know what? All of the other issues that I mentioned earlier on in this video, like reliability reliability problems, dealership sentiments, worker issues. Even if all of these problems were resolved, it wouldn't fix the real foundational issue that Stellantis has, which is the fact that their cars are just too expensive. I mean, let's look at some examples. The Wagoneer S starts at over $70,000, which is a brand that I have in the past on my channel referred to as a brand with an identity crisis. I mean, is a Wagoneer a Jeep? Is it not a Jeep? To be honest, I don't really know, and I don't think Jeep and Wagoneer do either. The Jeep, which was once a great affordable basic car that held its value well, has become extremely expensive, with the base model still featuring incredibly basic features like roll-up windows and cloth seats. It still costs over 30 grand. In fact, the Wrangler Sport, which is the base model of the Jeep, according to Jeep's own website, has a net price of nearly 35 grand, and yet this car features a manual transmission, cloth seats, and manual windows, which is just insane. The basic Rubicon starts at 50 grand, while the highest trimmed Jeep, the Rubicon Final Edition, starts at over 100 grand. That is truly insane, and it feels like a joke. But it really is just such a great reflection of just how big of a problem pricing is for Stellantis. And I think Stellantis as a company has become completely out of touch with what their average consumer, what their average customer can actually afford. And this is absolutely beginning, and it has been biting Stellantis in the butt. But the thing is, this isn't just a Jeep and a Wagoneer issue. This is really an issue across their entire lineup. The Ram 1500 Classic starts at 38 grand, going all the way up past $70,000 depending on the trim and options. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the bottom line is Stellantis has a pricing problem. And one could argue that this isn't necessarily a Stellantis only problem and that the car market as a whole has a pricing problem. And this is a take that I would definitely agree with. $100,000 Fords, Toyotas, and Chevys should by no means be the norm, and yet they are becoming increasingly so. But again, it doesn't change the fact that for the most part, Stellantis is charging premium pricing for a non-premium brand. And on top of these major pricing problems, Stellantis also has these other issues going against it, which I mentioned earlier. They feel disjointed, their reliability sucks, and their depreciation is horrendous. And once you mix these factors in with the fact that their prices are too high, well, it's a bad combo. And over the last couple of months, I've been talking a lot about how Stellantis brands have been discounting their cars left and right, which is true. That is what's happening. If you look online, even just for a few minutes, you'll be sure to find tons of Stellantis cars with steep discounts. But the thing is, are these cars really discounted if this is probably closer to where these cars should be priced at to begin with? It feels like through discounts, Stellantis is just bringing their cars to the price that they should have been all along, which is roughly 20% off of current MSRP. And one thing that I think will be really interesting, and when we'll really be able to find out if this is actually the case, is once Stellantis inventory returns to normal. You see, over the last couple of months, Stellantis has been talking about trying to bring inventory to a much lower level and doing this by cutting prices in the short term. But what happens when inventory is at their desired level and they are less hesitant to give discounts? Well, I predict what happened this year will happen again. People will stop buying because they'll feel like Stellantis vehicles are too expensive. Inventory will begin to pile up once again, and then Stellantis will again be forced to discount their cars in order to offload older inventory. And so it'll be incredibly interesting to see what Stellantis ends up doing once they feel as though they've solved their inventory problems. Because again, my philosophy here is that this has nothing to do with an inventory problem, and this has everything to do with a pricing problem. But I do think that we'll gain a lot of information on how this strategy will work moving forward come 2025. Remember, my course is on sale until November 30th, so if you want to check that out, the link is down in the description below. Like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.